Hi friends, welcome to Kodai Linux. I am your facilitator Murali. So as a part of part 3 of Linux shell environment, we are going to learn the following. There are various types of commands that exist in shell environment. One is the shell keywords, one is the shell aliases, shell built-in functions, shell user-defined functions. What are shell keywords? Words that have special meaning to shell. The shell keywords are used in shell scripts. Okay, so there are certain words that have got special meaning to the shell. They are known as shell keywords. Shell aliases. An alias is another name for a command. There are predefined aliases and user-defined aliases. Okay, the alias command, when executed without any arguments, it displays the list of aliases present in the shell environment. Shell built-in functions, the functions that are built in the shell environment, that is the functions which are predefined. And then there are user-defined functions. Okay, the functions that can be defined by the user. So both would be existing in the shell environment. The predefined or built-in functions and then the user-defined functions. Both would be in the shell environment. In fact, all these would be there in the shell environment. The shell keywords, they are part of the shell. Then the aliases, they are there in the environment of the shell. The built-in functions and the user-defined functions, all would be existing in the shell environment. Okay, so we are going to learn all these things. Okay, so let us work on all these things on the shell prompt. Let us first work with the shell keywords. Okay, let us understand what are the shell keywords. Okay, so the words that we use in our shell script, they are known as shell keywords. Like we have various constructs in our shell script. Okay, just like how we have constructs in C programming language, C++ programming language, like that. Even in shell script also we have various constructs. So for creating those constructs, we need certain keywords. Okay, they are known as shell keywords. So they exist in the shell environment. Okay, so there is a command called type. Okay, so type command helps us to know, okay, given any command as argument, what type of command it is. Is it a keyword? Is it an alias? Is it a built-in function or user-defined function, or is it an external command? So we would be able to know that. So type would tell us what kind of command it is. For example, I am giving type while, do, done, if, else, elif, py. All these are what? Shell keywords. So there are many more shell keywords. I have just shown you a few. There are so many shell keywords which are used in the shell script. So these shell keywords exist in the shell environment. Okay. Next, coming to the aliases. As I told you, aliases are another name for the command. So what is the purpose of alias? There are two purposes of aliases. For example, we know that when it's always advisable to execute CP with the -i option, right? So that if your target file is already existing, it will always warn you that you are trying to overwrite an already existing file. That is a advantage of executing CP with the interactive option, right? So, but every time I should remember executing with the interactive option. So is there any way around wherein if I just execute CP also, CP would be executed with -i option? Yes, there is a way around. What you do? You define an alias like this in your environment. Alias CP equal to, within single quote, CP-i. So once this alias is created, now what do you do? Type CP. CP is alias to CP -i. Right? So now an alias called CP exists. whose alias definition is cp-a. For every alias, there are two things: alias name and alias definition. As far as cp is concerned, alias name is cp and alias definition is cp-i. Now, what is the advantage of defining an alias like this? So now onwards, whenever I execute the cp command, it would be executed with the -i option. So it would be executed interactively. So I don't even have to remember to execute with the -i option. And if I am trying to overwrite an already existing file by specifying that as a target. So if I specify an existing file as a target in the cp command, what happens? We know that if it is already existing, it would be overwritten, right? If I don't provide the -i option explicitly. But thanks to this alias, so if this alias is existing, okay, whenever I am executing cp, okay, cp is an alias and its alias definition is cp-i. So whenever I am executing cp would be replaced by cp-i by the shell. Okay, so let us suppose that, okay, I have some files like this. So what I'm trying to do, area.c, okay, circum.c. So I'm giving an existing file as a target file, right? So but it won't allow me to do that. Why it is working interactively? Because cp is an alias now and its alias definition is -i, cp-i. So it is executing with the -i option interactively. Hence it is prompting me, do you want to overwrite? Okay, it's working interactively. So I can always tell no and come out. So this is one advantage of alias. There is yet another advantage of alias. There is a very big command, let us suppose, and every time you don't want to be typing that big command, what you can do, you can create a shorter name for that. For example, I want to execute many a times a command like this. Okay, okay, I am in Murali_Magha. So under this home directory, starting from under this current directory, okay, recursively I want to list all the .c files. Okay, find .-name *.c. So whatever .c files are there under this current directory, it will recursively list this find command. So about find command we will learn later on. So I will just take the help of this find command for defining alias. Okay, so alias myFind equal to, then I will copy this find command. Okay, so find .-name *.c. Okay, so type myFind. Yes, myFind is alias to find .-name *.c, right? Now, whenever I execute myFind command, so whenever I execute myFind command, that find .-name *.c, that will be executed. Why? Because shell has stored an alias called myFind, whose alias definition is find .-name *.c. So shell has stored information with regard to the alias myFind. One is the name of the alias myFind, another is the definition for the alias find .-name *.c. So whenever I am typing myFind, it checks, the shell checks, is there an alias called myFind? If so, what is the definition of that? Then it replaces the alias name with its definition and gives the control to that. So on the command line, myFind would be replaced by find .-name *.c. Okay, and then the control would be given to that find, and then find would get executed. Okay, so myFind, yeah. So it does the same thing. So what is the advantage of this? Whenever I want to execute this find command, I can just execute myFind. So that way I'm saving my time from I'm saving myself from typing a bigger command line. Okay, maybe this is a smaller command line, but maybe I have a requirement wherein I may have to type a bigger command line. So for that I can always create a shortcut. I can note it down somewhere that, okay, this shortcut is there. Okay, later on we are going to see that even how to have the aliases permanently in our shell environment. See here, whatever aliases I am creating here in the current login session, okay, they would be there only for this login session. See, for example, this my find alias would be there only for this login session. So when I log out and then log in next session, then my find won't be there. Okay, but if I want a set of aliases to be permanently there in login session, in my every login session, what to do? So we would be seeing that later on, okay, in a later class. Okay, the next, so before going to the next topic, let us see one more thing. When you are typing alias without any arguments, when you are just typing alias and pressing enter, so what it does means, what are the aliases that currently exist in the shell environment? It will display the list of those aliases. So the predefined aliases as well as the aliases that I have defined currently. See, CP alias I have defined currently. Okay, my find alias I have defined currently. But the other aliases, they were already there. So they will always be there. But CP and my find in the next session, they won't be there, right? So CP and my find aliases, they won't be there in my next login session. That's what I meant to say. Okay. The other aliases are predefined aliases, so they will always be there. Okay, L, LA, LL, LS. Okay, fine. They will always be there. So what is for example, let us to take up one alias like ls equal to ls hyphen color equal to auto. What is this? So whenever I am executing ls, it displays the output in color format, right? For example, ls hyphen l. See color format. All the directory files are displayed in blue color, right? So how it gets the coloring? Because of there is an alias called ls whose definition is ls hyphen color equal to auto. So this hyphen color equal to auto, this option to ls, no, that is what is giving the different colors to different types of files in the ls output. Okay, so typing alias without any arguments displays the list of aliases that currently exist in the shell environment. Okay. Okay, next let us move on to the functions. There are a set of, so as far as functions are concerned, no, there are two types of functions. Okay, predefined functions. Okay, predefined functions, or you can call them as built-in functions, shell built-in functions. They are built in as part of the shell itself. Okay, the another type of function is user-defined functions. So you have two types of functions, shell built-in functions and user-defined functions. Okay, so again, let us list out some of the built-in functions. Okay, type cd, type umask. Okay, so they are all built-in functions. So these are all shell built-in functions. Okay, so there are so many other shell built-in functions. I have just showed you a few. Okay, and what are user-defined functions? The functions that we define, the functions that user defines. Okay, they are known as user-defined functions. Okay, so let us see how do we define the user-defined functions. Function. Okay, let me define one simple function. Okay, function hello, curly brace, echo hello world. Okay, close the curly brace. So this is a user-defined function, right? Okay, so this user-defined function has been added to the shell environment. Type hello, it is showing that hello is a function. Okay, it's a user-defined function. You execute hello, yes, it displays hello world. So the function hello is executed and it displays hello world. So the function hello is in the shell environment. It's a user-defined function which is there in the shell environment. So we will be learning more about these user-defined functions as a part of shell scripting in a later session. Okay. So In this session, we have learnt about shell keywords. What are keywords? Let me summarize whatever we have learnt. What are keywords? Keywords are words that have special meaning to the shell. They are built into the shell environment. Okay, they are used in shell scripts. Okay, when you write shell scripts, these shell keywords are used in writing the shell constructs in the shell scripts. Then what are aliases? Aliases are short names for the commands. So they serve two purposes, right? So like you can define an alias for CP, whose definition is CP minus I, so that whenever you are executing CP would be executed with the interactive option. Similar with RM or MV. Okay, wherever you want to execute with an interactive option, you can execute it. You can define an alias for that. Okay. And another scenario is that when there is a very big command and you want a shorter name for that, in that scenario also you can define alias. And then the next one is shell built-in functions. So there are a set of built-in functions in the shell. So they are also called as, these built-in functions are also called as internal commands. Okay, so we will be learning more about these internal commands and external commands in a subsequent session. So this session we learned just what are these built-in functions. Some of the examples of built-in functions we saw. Okay, and then user-defined functions. So how we can define a function and how do we execute these user-defined functions. So these we have learnt in this session. With this, we have come to the conclusion of part 3 of the Linux shell environment. Thank you. See you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.